Hello friends! So, questions and answers video. It's going to be a two-parter. The first part's just going to be questions about my life as like a nomad, living homeless, that kind of stuff. And the second part is going to be more like personal questions. First question is, what do you do when you feel alone? That's not really a big issue for me. I'm pretty good at being alone, so I just kind of chill, listen to nature. Like I said, it's just not a real big deal for me, but I know for some people, need social interaction. But I'm okay just being out in the middle of nowhere and relaxing. Next question. Do you have any interest in keeping a dog or a pet as a travel partner? No, I do not, because I know a lot of people like to travel with dogs when they're either nomads or hiking and whatnot, but not all dogs want to travel, and I would hate to get a dog who doesn't want to walk 20 miles a day, 10 miles a day, 15 miles a day, and, subject him to that, or her. So, yeah. Just, I don't want to risk making an animal uncomfortable. I love dogs, and when I get a place of my own, I'll definitely get like a collie or some other dog, but while I'm traveling, I just don't want to put a dog through that. Next question. How much money did you start with? So when I first started out this little adventure, I had, I want to say it was like $900 to my name, and that lasted me a good while. And I picked up odd jobs here and there. I'll get more into that a little later. But I picked up odd jobs here and there. And yeah. The $900, that got me like almost all the way down to Georgia. From West Virginia down to Georgia. It's like 500 miles. So I'm good at spending money in the sense of I can save money. I don't get like fancy stuff or anything. Just give me a peanut butter and pretzels and I'm good. Next question. Did you have to break any laws? Stealing water, food, money, etc. I never had to steal anything, thankfully. Like I said, I'm really good with money, and I make money while I'm out traveling, so never had to steal any water or food or money or steal anything. When it comes to breaking laws, sometimes you kind of have to. Have to is a strong word, but I've walked along the railroad tracks, so that's technically trespassing. I've had to jump a few barbed wire fences, technically trespassing. So, I'm trying to think. I think trespassing is really the only laws I've broken. And I've never, trespassed, in somebody's yard. Mainly it's, railroad tracks, CSX property, or I don't know what the railroad company out here in California is. But yeah, I've never broken major laws. Have you had any paranormal experiences? I wish I could say I have. Full disclosure, I'm a pretty big skeptic when it comes to paranormal stuff. So maybe that's why I haven't really experienced it. Whenever I'm sleeping and I hear bushes rustling and stuff, it's just oh, it's probably a possum or a raccoon. I hate raccoons. Don't hate them, just I'd rather be 10 feet away from a grizzly bear than 10 feet away from a raccoon. Brave little guys. So yeah, no paranormal experiences. How did you come up with money? Odd jobs mostly. So the easiest way to make money is to just ask people if they need help with something. So whenever I would see a U-Haul truck or a moving truck of any sorts, just walk up and ask, hey, do you need help unloading this? 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you no. But the one time they tell you yes, that's $100, $200 in your pocket. Construction jobs, walk up to a construction site, just say, do you need an extra set of hands? Again, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. One time they say yes, you're going to have a good bit of chunk of change in your pocket. Restaurants, like mom and pop restaurants on like a Friday or Saturday night. Walk in and ask them if they need help washing dishes. But trust me, especially in the South, if you put yourself out there to work, they will put you to work. I spent 3 weeks in Texas. Don't remember the city. It's right outside Midland, Texas. Just laying foundations of trailers and made a couple grand. So, yeah, you need money. Just ask people if they need help with work. Especially if you're in the South, they're gonna tell you yes. Any times you were in fear of other people? Yes. One instance in particular kind of popped in my head. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana. Been raining for like a week, and I was under a bridge. I didn't want to set out to Texas just yet because, like I said, it was raining for a week. And there was a dude right across from me on the other side of the bridge. He was also homeless, and I don't know if he was on, I don't think he was on something at this time, but he screamed at me, asking if I had drugs, and I said, no, I don't got drugs. And then he continued to scream at me, and so I packed up, and I walked through the rain and found another spot to sleep. I wanted no part of that. Whenever I sense any kind of danger, I just get out of there. I don't play around with that. Next question. What do you really need to carry to survive? This is a complicated question. So, in all honesty, just to survive, a tarp, a sleeping bag, if it's cold, and probably a pocket knife. That's all you really need. But, yeah, no, I carry a lot more stuff than that. Like a sleeping pad, because if I just sleep on the hard ground, my back hurts the next morning, and I don't want that. I've also got a little hobo reel I can use to fish with, so that's always nice. Like, just to survive, you don't need much. To be comfortable, you need a little bit more, like I said. I kind of lost my train of thought because guys passing by. Sleeping bag if it's cold, a tarp for shelter, a knife because self-defense, obviously, but also I don't want to offend my vegetarian friends, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to eat. Fishing rod or hobo reel, in my experience. Yeah, that's about it. A water filter is really nice to have. You don't need it. You can always boil your water to get rid of all the pathogens and viruses and such, but yeah, like one of those Sawyer squeezes is real nice. I got rid of it because I used it so many times it got dirty, but I had it was a water bottle that had a life straw that went down into it, and you just dip it into a river, lake, whatever, screw the top on, drink it, and you were fine. Those are really nice to have. I haven't bought a new one just because water doesn't exist in California, so I don't see a point in getting one just yet. Once I get to like Colorado, I'll probably get another one. I hope that answered your question. Ever considered freight hopping? Yes. I haven't done it on this adventure because I wanted to walk all the way, but when I was 14, 15 years old, me and my friends would always hop the trains going from Cumberland, Maryland up to Pennsylvania. Hyman, Pennsylvania, I think it was. And we get off at Hyman and we walk like 3 miles to a swimming hole and we go swimming. So, I mean, people who actually hop freight trains kind of laugh at that, like that's not train hopping, but that's my experience with train hopping. I don't know if I'd want to do it like long distance because you can get in a lot of trouble for that, and I try to stay squeaky clean, you know what I mean? So yeah. Have you ever experienced not having food or water while hiking? Literally every time I go hiking. I am the worst at rationing food and water. I just suck at it. I will have a gallon of water and a 20-mile hike, and I'll be like, I can drink half of this in one sitting, and I'll have enough for the rest of the hike. And then I'll walk 5 miles, like, I'll just drink the rest. Horrible. I'm horrible at it, and I never learn. And when that happens, you just gotta tough it out, I guess. It was easier when I was in the South because there were rivers everywhere, and I could just dip my cup in and with that life straw drink the water. Again, water doesn't exist in California, so it's a little tougher, but I'm getting better at rationing water. Food's not really a big deal. I want to choose my words carefully here. Your body adapts to not having food much better than you think it would. The first time I went like a day without food, it was horrible, right? I couldn't do anything. But then the second time, I kind of adapted to it. And now, if I go a day or two without food, it doesn't affect me at all. At least not like mentally or like physically to the point where I can't do anything. I might get a headache. I'll get a headache if I don't eat for like 2 days, but I can still walk like 20 miles and I'm fine. I don't recommend not going without food. I'm just saying you kind of get used to it. So food's not a big issue, but going without water is. If I go a day without water, I'm out. I'm done. I can't handle not having water. What do you do to get food or water when you're in the middle of nowhere? I kind of already answered this. I got a fishing pole, hobo reel. I keep saying fishing pole. I don't have a full-size fishing pole. I got a hobo reel. I had one of those bottles that had the light straw in it. That's pretty much it. I could hunt rabbits and squirrels. Like, I have that ability. I haven't had to, but I could. Next question. Do you listen to music or audiobooks while you're walking? It depends. I never listen to audiobooks, but if I'm on the road, like road hiking, I'll listen to some music or listen to some podcasts. Unless there's like no shoulder. If there's no shoulder on the road, and I'm literally walking in the road, then I want all of my attention focused on oncoming traffic, excuse me. But if I'm in the trail, like on a trail, I don't listen to music or podcasts. I just enjoy the nature, right? Music kind of ruins it when you're like hiking through the mountains or alongside a river. You're just out in nature. Plus, it's good to have all your senses available to you. I've had bears walk up on me and bobcats. Haven't had a mountain lion yet. It's good to have all your senses ready just in case. How did you shower or go to the bathroom? Showering would be rivers. Again, California. Water doesn't exist. I'm going to keep repeating that because it's true. Besides for aqueducts, but I ain't jumping in an aqueduct. That's going to kill me. So yeah, for showering, rivers, streams, waterfalls are amazing. I love standing underneath a waterfall. When it comes to going to the bathroom, obviously there are gas stations and Walmarts and fast food restaurants. If that's not applicable, then you dig a hole 6 inches deep, you do your business, you cover it up, you go about your day. That's kind of the standard when you're out hiking and such. So, there you go. Do you pack supplies before leaving a town, or do you hunt? Like I said, I can hunt if I wanted to. I'm trying to choose my words right. I can hunt if I really wanted to. But if I don't have to, then I'm not going to waste the energy doing it. Yes, I do pack supplies before leaving the town. Although, as I've said earlier, I'm good at rationing those supplies. Yeah, especially out here in the West. On the East Coast, in the South, wasn't a big deal. There's a new town every 10 miles in the South. You know, not big towns, population of 200 people, but there's almost always a general store there. Out here, out west, 20 miles, 30 miles. One case is 60 miles from one town to the next, so you gotta pack out. Scariest thing that's happened to you in the past 2 years. Okay, it's gonna sound stupid, but I was genuinely terrified because I didn't know what was going on at this time. I had just gotten into California from Yuma, Arizona. It's important that you understand that, like, Yuma, Arizona, and I believe it was Interstate 8. If I'm wrong, I'll put a correction on the screen. It runs all the way south in California, like right up to the border. Like, you can literally see the Mexico border from the interstate. And I needed to find a place to sleep. I got off the interstate and found a place to sleep. I woke up with a flashlight in my eyes, and it was a Border Patrol officer. He's just saying, "Are you an American citizen? Are you an American citizen?" And I'm asleep. So I wake up and I'm blinded and I'm disoriented and I just put my hands up. I'm like, yes, I am. Yes. He's like, "Oh, okay, you have a wonderful night," and just walks off. That doesn't sound scary. Like, I've woken up like bears, and I almost froze to death before, but just being completely startled like that, like, my heart was pounding. I was just thinking, oh my goodness, something bad's gonna happen. But another scary time, because maybe that's not as interesting, I did get caught in a hurricane in Florida. I woke up to sirens blaring, saying seek shelter immediately, and I got a little tarp over my head, and I'm just like, I can wait the storm out. And then a gust of wind blows my tarp, like the tent stakes right out of the ground. I'm like, okay, time to walk to the Dollar General and just sit there out of the rain. That was a scary moment. Also, almost got hit by a tornado in Mississippi. That one was nice. And people in Mississippi just don't care. Like, it was raining sideways, and there was this woman. I was like at a shopping plaza under an awning, and it's raining sideways and it's windy as heck, and this woman walks up to me with the pizza and she's just like, "Would you like a pizza?" And I'm like, "Sure. Should I be worried about, like, the weather?" And she's like, "Oh no, we get tornadoes all the time, don't worry." Okay, that's comforting, I guess. But I guess, like, that's the same thing when I talk about black bears, right? Like, if I'm 5 feet away from a black bear, I'm just like, it's whatever. But there's a lot of other people, you say that and you're next to a black bear? Are you crazy? So yeah. Okay, what is the next question? What are some of the best encounters you've had? There are too many to count. I have met so many wonderful people, both IRL and online. I remember I was in Florida. I'm trying to think of the city, and I can't think of the city. That makes me sad. But I was in Florida. It was Easter, and this couple just drove up to me. They gave me some ham, and just gave me $100 bill. It's like, oh, thank you so much. And I can't even say that's like a rare occurrence. Like, people have just been really, really nice. Like, that's one thing I always tell people. It's like 99.9% of the people that I have met have been kind to me. Like, I haven't had very many bad experiences. And I'm very happy to say that. So, people are good. Remember that. On that topic, what city or state has been the most kind? and which has been worse? I don't like to talk bad about places. I'm going to start off with the bad one first, just because I want to end on good notes. California has been not the best. It's not been bad. I want to be very clear. Like, California is not. It's not as bad as it's portrayed, I guess I could say. But I miss the South. So the biggest problem with California is drugs. There's way too many drugs, and it feels like nobody cares about the drugs. 2 days ago, I was at Walmart, and there's a dude sitting right outside the Walmart, panhandling with a crack pipe in his mouth. It's a different world to me. It's not what I'm used to. So, would have been the best, or most kind. So, I'm definitely biased towards West Virginia, because that's where I'm from. West Virginia definitely helped me out a lot. Other than West Virginia, I'd probably say Texas and Florida, for two different reasons. The people in Florida are just kind. Like, I don't know how else to say it. They're just, here's $100. Do what you want. I hope you have a good life. This is amazing. Texas, like I said, it's a little bit of a different reason, but Texas, they put you to work, and I love that. I got so many jobs in Texas, I can't even count them. Unloading, furniture and stuff for a company, unloading U-Haul trucks. Like I said earlier, I was laying foundations for trailers. There's one woman who just invited me into her house and asked me, hey, can you weed whack my yard and mow the lawn and clean out my shed? She paid me like $50. Yeah, if you need work, go to Texas, because they'll put you to work and they'll pay you well. Seriously. How many times were you close to death? How many times? Now see, it depends on what you define as close to death. So, I was in Fancy Gap, Virginia, and I almost froze to death. I was definitely very close to death there. I was in Mount Savage, West Virginia, and I had a black bear. It was a mama bear and two cubs who kind of walk up onto me. So, like, to most people, they would consider that as being close to death. Technically, I was. Like, mama bear could rip me to shreds if she wanted, but at the same time, I know black bears. I wasn't really scared. Close to death. How many times? I'm going to say 3, including that Fancy Gap, that hurricane, I guess 4 because that tornado, and then Christmas of 2020, I got soaking wet, and it dropped down to like 23 degrees. So it's like 23 degrees, and I'm soaking wet. And it went pretty good, all things considered, but it could have ended badly. Ever consider giving up? It's going to be the last question. Ever consider giving up? Yes. One time and one time only. And I just mentioned it. And I've repeated this so many times that a lot of people are probably sick of hearing it. At the time I was in Fancy Gap, Virginia, and I literally almost froze to death. To give context, in case you haven't heard the story, I was in Fancy Gap, Virginia. I was not prepared. It was October, and I didn't think it was going to get so cold so quickly. I got down to 20 degrees with wind chill. My sleeping bag was only rated at 50 degrees, and I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because it was so cold. And when I finally got up, the sun finally came up, my feet were so frozen, I couldn't walk. Like, the best way I can describe it, and it's going to sound funny, is I had to walk like a penguin. And every step I took, it felt like daggers were just shooting up into my foot. It was not enjoyable at all. And that made me want to quit. But I didn't, and now I'm here. I don't know why I closed this up, because part 2 is next. So, check out part 2. Should be up tomorrow. More personal questions. It's not going to be as long as this video, but yeah, check that out. Till then, hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everybody.